Hello, Internet. Welcome to Two and a Half Brains. This is our weekly Survivor recap. Survivor Season 43, Episode 7. We're going to break it all down, talk all about it. Be sure to subscribe so you miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Productions on Facebook. Email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, tell your friends, and we'll get started here in just a few moments. Obviously, it's been a very busy week, and like I said, it's been a week with they changed the schedules on us. Survivor, Amazing Race schedules all changed, or at least the Amazing Race schedule changed. So we had to switch up our recording a little bit. They didn't really get much notice. They pulled the Love Boat, which makes a lot of sense, but they moved everything around on us a little bit, so it's been tough. Plus, I've been battling a little bit of a sickness here, not too much, but I don't have as much of a voice. I'm a little bit nasally today, so I apologize for that. I'm gonna let Jessica do a little more talking than normal. So I can not talk as much, but we got our Amazing Race content out here, got some Survivor stuff out here as well, so be sure to subscribe to get everything, and we'll get it all out to you as soon as possible. I'll go ahead and bring in Jessica here, and we can get started. Be sure to subscribe, like I said, so you get everything, and we'll dive on in. Jessica, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Are you now?
No, but we'll see how it goes. But hey, Sabres won again, so that's good.
They did.
Good stuff. How you doing?
I'm awake.
That's good. Me too, barely. Let's go ahead and start off with initial thoughts on the episode. Anything you want to start with?
I mean, it was a decent episode. Things happened and people talked, and no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I definitely liked the challenge. That was a little bit different. The immunity challenge was cool.
Mm-hmm.
They did things that the way I probably would have did it as well, and make things even, and picking up the rocks and everything else. But it was a good episode, and yeah.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and start off with, as we always do, we do three moments that matter from the episode. We'll talk about who did not survive and what they did wrong. We'll talk about the top three and bottom three players from the week as well. So let's start off with three moments that mattered. Moment number one is
stages of immunity. 3 stages of immunity.
Exactly. And so they got Freemail saying they're going to have to divide up into pairs to do this challenge. And, nobody wanted to be like, hey, I want to take the challenge beast on my team. So they just kind of said, well, let's just do it the fairest way. We'll pick rocks. And, we'll basically randomly assign the teams. And it's kind of good that they did that, too, because if you would have said, like, hey, I want the challenge beast on my team, they didn't realize this, but at the end of the last leg, you'd have to compete against them. Right. So, it is interesting. But three stages of the challenge. They have done stuff like this before. But it hasn't been in pairs quite like that. So, slightly different. I remember the episode Jonathan Penner won on his last season he played. He was the one on the chopping block. He was the one who's going to go. And then they did bless you, Bailey. They did a challenge with 3 stages. And it was like, if you make it through the stage, you move on. You make it through the stage, you move on. And he was the last one to make it through the second last stage. And he basically dove and beat the person there to get to the final stage. And they won the final stage and won the immunity. And that saved him and changed the whole game up at that point. But yeah, so it was very interesting. I like the three different stages. I like how they had kind of elimination. In each pair, if you start off really well and your partner didn't do well, then you were gonna not make it. So
right.
I liked it.
No, I liked it a lot, and like I said, I liked how they drew rocks, because that's what I kind of was saying too. Like, write down a number, write down 2 1s and 2 2s up to 6, and everybody just pick a number, and that's who you're assigned to make it even, and then not put a target on your back for picking a certain person or not wanting to be with a certain person.
Right, and and Janine and Noelle struggled. And Noelle lost her leg in.
Well, yeah, I think she took it off just to make it easier, and it didn't really help. She was already just too tangled.
And not for nothing too, but the teams who had Janine and Noelle, their partners didn't do well to start anyways. They were behind to begin with.
Well, Sammy, I guess he said was leading, but I don't think he was out first.
No.
I think that was Ryan or Cassie.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Cassie and Ryan were first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it wasn't them that really held them up.
No, for sure. They were kind of behind anyways, and they just finished last. But
right.
So that was a cool challenge, though.
Mm-hmm. No, I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
They had a racing up racing through the rope tangle, and then they had to dig up puzzle pieces or dig up planks.
The planks for the bridge, and I think that's where everybody struggled, was that bridge, when they had to, they had to bring the parts of the bridge onto that the platform in order to be completed, and people were dropping them, or even Carla fell, so they would have had to start over.
Yeah.
For that, but that's kind of where they seem to struggle.
And that was the second phase.
In the second phase, in the first phase, everybody was struggling with having to spin around in the rope to untangle and get through.
Yep, and they got through that, and they had to dig up the planks, and then go back, and then they had to race across with the planks and go down a slide, and then the last one was they had to compete against each other. They had to hold a bucket with 25% of their body weight over a platform, and it would unspool, and they would eventually drop it.
Yeah, it would drop and it would break a tile underneath, and if it dropped and broke the tile, then you were eliminated.
Yep. So that was that challenge. Very, very cool challenge. And it was like almost a 2-segment challenge, which they don't usually do that. They usually do multiple segments with Travel Council, but they don't usually do multiple segments with the immunity challenge. But it was divided up, so it made sense, and it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next?
Gabler goes Christian.
Yeah. And how about Christian Ubicki?
Yeah, I know. So he made a big move and then tried to hide out in the background?
But that's not what I meant.
Okay.
What I meant was...
Oh, and he wouldn't stop talking during the challenge.
That's correct.
But I know. I mean, Christian was speaking about different, I think it was like science and things like that. Yeah. Gabler was just dedicating each minute to a different person. And the more he talked, the more I liked, what he was talking about in the dedications. I mean, to the military and like the people he would get to know as surgeons. And, he brought up, a valid point of PTSD isn't just for military, not to say, that gets thrown around sometimes, but, doctors definitely get PTSD if something goes wrong and they lose a patient. I couldn't imagine the guilt you feel after something like that. So I don't know. He just wouldn't stop talking and dedicating his minutes to people. Yep,
every minute of the challenge. They ended up breaking the record for longest in that challenge. It was like 30 minutes. Yeah. So they did a good job. And he talked a lot, and it was funny because Cody almost looks like Alec, who was also competing against Christian in that challenge, and it was the strongest guy against the guy who's not necessarily. I mean, he's obviously Gabler stronger than Christian was, but it was more of a strength as opposed to endurance. So the challenges weren't. It was not a 1-to-1 comparison by any means, but he did talk a lot. He kind of and it was like a lot of him to keep his mind off of it too, and that that helped, And meanwhile, also it may have helped to annoy Cody to the point where he could lose focus.
Maybe. I mean, Gabler was doing great because even if the bucket dropped, he was strong enough to wind it back up multiple times. Yeah. So, I mean, he was doing well despite any of it.
Yeah, and that's what I said. He tried to make a move and then hide back in the background a little bit. It's going to be hard for him to do, just like it was hard for Christian, because he's a big name. He's got his name out there. He's won a challenge. He's, Gabler's not going to be able to hide, I don't think. Kind of like Christian wasn't. But the biggest reason I compared him to Christian was talking the whole challenge and just kind of, taking his mind off what he was doing.
Yeah, agreed.
He did some cool dedication. He dedicated the person who was in the military and he was, missing for years and everything like that. And he had to give him surgery. So, cool, cool story. We got to hear a lot more about Gabler, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Number 3.
Moment of matter number 3.
I liked my name better, but I guess I'll say your name.
What was your
my name was Musical Advantages.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Or the Advantage Shuffle, and then I think about Super Bowl Shuffle, and we're not getting
and the Cupid Shuffle.
That. Cupid Shuffle, there you go. Dun, 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 dun.
What was that all about?
Exactly. So James found the knowledge's power advantage that was underneath. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. It was James, Owen, Sammy. I'm trying to think who else was there. And Jesse or Ryan. No, it wasn't Ryan. It was because they told Ryan later. I don't remember the 4th. They were at the water well, getting water after cleaning off from the immunity challenge. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they opened it, they saw a letter in a bottle inside of the water well. So James scooped it out. He opened it since I guess he spotted it first and got it first. And he was in the bottle. He was told that there was an advantage hidden underneath their shelter. And he had to get it without getting caught. So he told everybody he wasn't even going to go for it until after the advantage, the guys that were at the water well. But
the challenge, yeah.
yeah, after the
tribal.
after tribal. So he lied. He went and got it after they all left the water well. He did not get caught, and he found the Knowledge's power advantage underneath the shelter. So he came clean to most people about it that were either there, told them what it was, told people that he had it, and then of course word spread. So everybody decided to shuffle and play musical advantages and give their advantage to somebody else. So James didn't know exactly who had what advantage at that point and couldn't ask for it.
Right. So yeah, obviously knowledge power. You can ask if you know someone who has an advantage. You ask them about it. So they basically everybody took their advantage and just gave them different people to kind of shuffle them up. So that way he didn't know who had it. So he asked Noelle, do you have this? Well, she gave hers away, so she doesn't have it.
Right.
And then asked Janine, do you have this? Or do you ask Cody, do you have this? And so basically they're all able to shuffle their advantage to different people, so that way he wouldn't have any clue who had what.
Right. And hindsight is 2020. We can talk about that after, but that just because someone has that advantage doesn't mean it's the best thing to give your advantage away and shuffle them around.
Right, for sure. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in a moment. So who did not survive this week?
Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight. What happened with Dwight?
Dum dum dum. He was blindsided. So everybody was throwing out names. Most people wanted to get rid of James because of his advantage. And I'm trying to think of how that started. It was Jesse, and Jesse went to Cody to discuss who they think should be eliminated.
And Noelle wasn't on that too. It wasn't on a different part of it, but
right, yeah. I mean, there's all different moving parts with it, and Jesse wanted to give Cody slack to kind of say what he was feeling to make a decision, and he wanted to get rid of Dwight because he felt Dwight was more of a threat than James. And then you can talk about the Noelle part because now I'm blanking on that part.
Yeah, so and then Noelle was Noelle kind of was like, hey, let's go after James and Ryan. We'll split the votes on them. We have 4, and Janine's like, we have 4, 4, and 4, so we can throw 4 on James, 4 on Ryan, and then they can put their votes on whoever. It doesn't matter because we'll have even if all 4 of the blue or whatever vote together, the yellow and the red will still have 4 and 4. If one plays an idol, the other one goes home. If not, it's a tie, and we vote on whoever we want at that point. And that was kind of Noelle and Janine running that. And when Cody and Jesse heard that, they're like, man, Noelle's accumulating some power. We may not want to wait too much longer to take her out because we let her get too much control in the game. Then she could, we could regret it later. And so then Cody and Jesse were talking about, like, well, do you want to take your head of Noelle or Dwight? Because Dwight is, maybe a little more of a threat, and without Dwight, Noelle won't have as much power. So that's kind of where that started going. Plus, Cody's working, or Jesse's working well with Carla, and James is close with Carla, and I don't know if they necessarily know that, but Noelle's mistake was that she didn't realize how close Blue was with everybody else. She figured, we can get rid of Blue and nobody will care because we were against Blue in the original challenges.
Right, they're all working together before.
But the Carla and James and all them seem to be getting in pretty well, and even Cassidy is kind of getting herself in with them too. So there's they kind of pitched James, but it was Cody and Jesse were like, well, which way do we want to go? Do you want to just go out against James, or do we want to go on and split up Vessi?
Right.
So ultimately, they chose to go after Dwight, split up Vessi, and instead of splitting the votes on Ryan and James, they got whatever it was, 8 votes on, or 7 votes on Dwight.
Yeah, which, I mean, they may have discussed it, but everybody was pretty much good to go along with getting rid of them because it was all the blue tribe, and then part of the yellow tribe was in on it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, it seemed like it was all of yellow minus maybe Janine and Owen, or at least just Janine. And then So basically the blue with Gabler and Sammy, and then Jesse and Cody, I guess, something like that. It was because there's like 7 of them or 8 of them, or whatever, that were together.
So it was Carla, James, Cassidy, Jesse, Ryan, and Cody, Gabler, Sammy. That's 8.
I feel like there was only 7, but maybe it's 8. Maybe there was 8. I don't know. Either way, it was some. Yeah, it might have been one less of them, but either way, it was at least those that.
I don't remember because I thought Ryan voted for Dwight, but he could have voted for. He wouldn't have voted for James.
No.
So yeah.
He was in on, yeah, for sure.
Right.
So
I
yeah.
don't know.
Either way,
They all managed to come together and vote him out. For what reason? I mean, to me, there's really no clear reason except for they're just trying to get rid of. I guess I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, he kind of became a pair with Noel, which makes him a threat. And he's not on the jury, which is crazy. But
I just say this isn't this one isn't a paranoid voting out. Like everybody else started to get paranoid and then they get voted out. I guess Allie wasn't completely that, but she was getting there. Like as we saw an accident of The Blind Side on the comments in the TV.
Yeah. So, yeah, they said it was I hate the description CBS gave. It was like, oh, a blind side. Well, thanks for that. It's almost always blinds anyways, but like, still. I think the one thing I would say Dwight did wrong is back early on when everybody was pairing up on the red team, and it was Justine and Noel, and then it was NECA and Cody, and then it was Jesse and Dwight. Basically, Jesse wanted to go. Dwight didn't have a vote.
Yeah.
So that was a mistake. Jesse wanted to go after Justine, so he sided with NECA and Cody and left Dwight out of it because he didn't have a vote anyways. And then he didn't do a good job of damage control when he came back. And so that allowed. So then they get rid of NECA next, and that freed up Cody. And then Jesse and Dwight were kind of not on the same page, and that allowed Cody and Jesse to link up.
Yeah.
And so Cody and Jesse were together, and they were making decisions. Dwight kind of felt like he was with them, but he didn't have any real ally who was his number one. He was kind of close with Justine. He was kind of close with Noel, but I think they were closer with each other than they were with him. And he was kind of like it was like, well, who do we, And they obviously were all blindside. They wanted to keep him in the game, but if he was still close with Jesse, he would have been making the decision with Jesse instead of Cody. And I think he got kind of squeezed out.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
So I think his mistake was made several episodes ago, and it just kind of built until the point where it was like, well, we don't need him anymore, and he's not really with us.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was starting to think about.
Cool. So that's what he did wrong. What is next then? We talk about the bottom 3?
Yeah, top 3 and bottom 3.
Start with the bottom 3.
Bottom 3, number 3, or actually no in particular order. Janine.
Janine, what happened with her?
She's all on her lonesome. Ellie's gone, and then she gave her advantage to Dwight, and Dwight got bye-bye. He did not survive and left with her advantage.
Yeah, he left with her idol. It's crazy.
That's why I said hindsight's 20/20. It's not always good to just shuffle it around because lo and behold, James didn't use his knowledge as power, so she could have kept her advantage. But yeah, everybody felt that they needed to shuffle it, and that's a danger too because there's no guarantee you're gonna get it back from the person. They don't have to get it back to you.
For sure. And so it was really crazy. And she lost her number 1 ally last week, saved her idol, and then her idol went out the door with him today. Now, I don't know, maybe something happened, maybe because they didn't show, maybe somehow he slipped it back to her. I don't think that's even something we can do.
They kept zooming in on her face at the end. I don't think so.
I
think she was sitting there thinking about how dumb it is that she lost her idol.
The only thing, she's obviously the worst spot in the game, no doubt. The only thing I would say is it doesn't make sense for her to go next week just because she is in that bad spot.
You keep her around as a buffer.
Keep her around as an easy vote.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
For sure. Keep the threats in the game, so you can get rid of her at that point. But I think, there's much bigger fish to fry than her at this point. So, and so I think she's
Keep her as a number, not a buffer, but a number. Keep her as someone that'll vote with you.
Yeah. So if you want to get rid of her next week, I think it's an easy decision. I don't think anybody will really put much of a fight. Maybe Noelle, maybe whoever, but I don't think it'll be a problem. I think she'll be. I think they can get rid of her whenever they want to this point. Maybe that's why she won't go next. But she's definitely in the worst spot in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Who is number 2 in the bottom 3?
Noelle.
What does L stand for?
Leg, and she's got no leg. She's only got one leg. She's missing a leg. No L.
No LEG.
No leg. Exactly. Oh man. I mean, I'm not making these jokes to be offensive. I'm just saying she has no jokes about. She says she got all these jokes and she doesn't say them.
I know.
I she's hear some jokes.
Well, she says about how she's trying to be inspirational and she's so glad she got through this and everything like that and she was inspired Gabler to whatever. But the funny thing is, that was what she said all season. Mm-hmm. She has all these leg jokes and she said, "We have to put our best foot forward." And I'm like, you only have one foot, so it's only.
She only got 1 foot to put forward. I hope that's her best foot.
All right, it's her only foot, so it's only happening. Yeah. So like I said, she said she had leg jokes. She wants to make leg jokes, but she doesn't make any leg jokes. Make leg jokes. I want to see. I want her to get the reverse Christian Hubicki. Like Christian got voted out, not getting any airtime. I want to see if she can just drop like 6 leg jokes and then get voted out, like her last episode.
Maybe they edit it that way. Maybe they will do it that way.
So I hope so. But she's not a great spot either. Obviously, her number one ally. They looked at her. They looked at her as a threat. They voted out her number one ally, Dwight, to weaken her, and now she's kind of on her own as well. I think she could be next, but again, it depends on what you think. Who thinks the biggest threat next?
Depends on how much she's trying to control the game, and I don't know if I agree that Dwight was her number one because she's working with.
Janine. With Janine.
Yeah, and so many other people. I mean, everybody at this point doesn't have like their original allies anymore. They're all combining with other people, and they got that. But if she keeps kind of showing that she's making moves or like making decisions, then yeah, they're gonna go after her soon.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's making herself a threat, and that's a problem. We'll see what happens, but so far, she's staying in it, but definitely not in a great spot.
Yeah.
Who's else in the bottom 3?
Cody.
Why Cody?
I don't remember.
I said Cody because they were talking about they're deciding whether they're going to move on Dwight. They said maybe it's too big of a move. Maybe it's too early. Oh. And so maybe we should just hang on the beach and have a couple beers with the girls as opposed to go surfing on the wave. And
not about that directly, but right. Jeff kind of asked about
and
analogy.
And I think it is right. I think it's wrong. I think it's too early. I think if you're gonna, obviously, the only reason it's not that big of a move is because Jesse is close with Carla, so you kind of want to throw Carla a bone and keep her ally in the game, as opposed to getting rid of her ally James. So I think but I think that helps Jesse, doesn't help Cody, and I think Cody made too big a move too soon, and now if they want to be like, hey, wow, who got rid of her? They can blame Cody, and people will believe that was Cody. So I think he made too big a move too soon. I think he should go with the easy vote. Make a big move at final 9, 7. Final 12 is too big of a move, too early.
I mean, who was the easy vote though, James?
I mean, I think the vote that you don't throw a name out for.
Yeah.
Right. I think you just glob onto whatever. Noelle's gonna make the move. Hey, let's get rid of James. Okay. Well, if the people are pissed, they say it was Noelle's fault. I didn't know.
Right.
Instead he had to take control, and it was his move, with Jesse. But the people are like, who flipped, and they're being mad. Well, now they're mad at them as opposed to being mad at Noelle. And letting Noelle take credit for that move. That's fine. It's final 12. She's not gonna be able to take. She can be taken out before the final 8, final 7. So I think it was too big of a move, and I don't think he got enough. I don't think he got enough capital from that move. I think Jesse did, because he can go to Carla and say, "I saved your eye," but Cody doesn't have that connection. So I think he's gonna be. I think he gets all the blame and none of the credit.
Yeah.
And it was too early.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Who's in the top 3? Start with number 3.
Number 3 is Gabler.
Why Gabler?
Because he has a heart of gold and he is a heart doctor.
Yeah.
Valve.
Heart health specialist. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
He has his advantage. He won immunity.
Well,
and
he lost his advantage, right?
oh yeah, he lost his advantage because it expired.
Yeah.
Well, he won immunity. I guess because he's still here and he is floating under the radar.
He's
don't
trying
remember.
to. I don't think he's gonna be able to.
Yeah, I
But
don't remember now.
he won the immunity, and he had a really good episode. I don't think he's in a good spot, but he had a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't. Well, obviously they couldn't vote for him, but
His name did come up before the challenge.
before the challenge, yeah, after the challenge, obviously his name went away. But I mean, it could flip away from him though if they see how Noel is trying to control things more. They might float away from his name for now,
Right.
and it might give him the opportunity to float underneath.
Exactly. Usually when your name's up, it's up. But also when everybody's playing hard, you just let them play hard.
Mm-hmm.
And Noelle's the target now. Okay, and then Janine's gonna have to make moves. She becomes the target, and then you're like, well, Cody made this, and now Cody's the target, and then Jesse's the target, and now you're at the final 6.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really think he's not in a great spot because they could easily shift back around to him next week,
Right.
and make him the target. But the good news for him is, if everybody's mad at you or if you're a target, wait 5 minutes
Right.
because somebody else will do something stupid, and it'll be their name up next.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
and he won immunity, and he had a great episode of just a great edit this week. I don't know if necessarily he's gonna win, but he's kind of getting the Bennett edit.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I really like him. I don't know if he can actually win it, but he's growing on me more most episodes, and we'll see what happens with him.
Same. He's definitely a little bit too abrasive for me.
He can be, yeah, but when he's talking about,
His
family, the vets, his job, and just all that stuff, it makes me like him.
He's a good human for sure.
A good person for sure.
Even he goes after what he wants. He doesn't really pull any punches, which is not good for Survivor. But you can tell he's successful.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
Number 2 is Jesse.
Yeah, why Jesse?
I mean, like what you're talking about before, he was kind of involved in with the vote, but if it falls down on it, he can say that he wasn't the one that threw Dwight out there and that he saved Carla's ally. He saved James. He can let James know his name was being thrown out as well and that he protected him. And, he's got additional allies besides his original tribe members.
Yeah, him and Carla are from the similar backgrounds, and so the only reason I give him more credit than Cody is because he got the social game that Cody doesn't have.
Yeah.
He's able to use the moves that are made in the game and make allies and friends with it.
Right.
As opposed to Cody, who just made the move, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah, everybody thinks Cody's just kind of out there and crazy, and Jesse's more calm and can talk to people.
And I think the perception is reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if it isn't reality, I think in this case it is. But even if it isn't reality, perception is all that matters.
Yeah.
And so Jesse's been doing pretty well. We'll see how it goes. He's definitely in a good spot.
Better spot than my person, your winner.
Yes, for sure. I might actually get one this season. Knock on wood.
Might. We'll
Probably
see.
not. Who's number 1?
Carla.
Still. Why?
Well, it just seems like every episode she's just in a good place. She's in the right place, even though, I mean, she made it through the first step of the immunity challenge. They didn't make it through the second one, but she's always in on everything. She can talk to everybody, and she doesn't go and blab it. Even if I feel like when I see her talking to people, she doesn't go run to the next person to say what she's found out. She just takes everything in and holds it into herself and then makes the decision. And I mean, she does have good allies because, like we said with Jesse, he saved James, and it may not be for her game or for his game, but she still has people that are willing to work with her, and that she's got secrets that people don't know about.
For sure. And I mean, nobody knows about her idol yet, even.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Which is crazy. Also, here's the thing, right? So, like, some of the people have allies who, like, yellow team, people who were originally on the yellow team, they're friends with people on the yellow team.
Yeah.
Right? People who are on the red team, they're friends with people on the red team. Carla has allies on yellow, on blue, and on red.
Exactly.
And she's, like, I don't remember in her bio, I feel like she said she wanted to play X3 Fields. Was she the one who said that? She's playing X3 Fields.
Yeah.
Like, Like, I know. You've never seen Sri play.
I don't know this.
Because last time Sri played was season 34, you started watching 35. And I'm not saying she's as good as Sri, because nobody is. But she's playing a damn good Sri game. Sri's not good at challenges, but Sri is the most social player of all time and one of the most strategic players of all time. And she's just, that's Carla right now. Everything revolves around her. Sri was one of the leaders of the Black Widow Brigade. They put their spider webs out and dragged in all the men, spun around, and ate them. And that's not doing that with the men in this case, but with everybody, everything that happens, Carla is connected to it in some way.
So are you saying that someone finally said they're going to play like a person and they're succeeding? Because I feel like this is the first I've heard you say it of somebody.
For sure. No, I agree. And she really is.
That's who she said. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up. But I think she even if she didn't say that, that's who she reminded me of. And that's, to play like a legend your first time out is really, really huge. And I think, really there's nothing for me that, everything that happened is going through, everything in the game is going through Carla. And for me that's huge. And she's in definitely the best spot. Nobody's really been like, let's look at Carla, because she's not out there making moves. She's not dominating the challenges. She doesn't seem all that social. But everybody can relate to her in some way, and everybody wants to work with her.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered it all.
Okay. Well, if you think of anything else, let me know. But I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Yeah. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Paper Productions, on Facebook. You can email the show directly, paperproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe, share the post, tell your friends. And we'll definitely be back next week. And then the week after that, we'll have to figure it out. But for right now, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So be sure to subscribe. And we'll get out these shows as soon as we get them out. And you'll have them right in your feed. Make sense?
Yes.
Sound good?
Sure.
Anything else?
No.
Do you have anything other than one word answer?
No.
Okay, perfect. Well, in that case, let's both go to bed and get some much needed rest.
Okay.
Anything else?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, on that cliffhanger, I think that's it for me. That's it for you?
Yes.
Until next time, I got nothing else for you. Because the tribe has spoken.